let's create the rectangular domain for our problem in SpaceClaim. I must confess that I'm no expert in SpaceClaim. I'm learning it myself. I had a long call with an ANSYS engineer to show me how to do things in SpaceClaim that are necessary for this particular course. Because I wanted to show you the right way to do it rather than just some hacky way to do it. If I go to geometry in the workbench page or window and right click on it, I see, I can create it using Design Modeler. I'll say hi to my old friend, but ignore it then. And then select New SpaceClaim Geometry. After twiddling your thumbs a bit, SpaceClaim comes up. You can see that, you can access tutorials and so on. There are also tutorials at spaceclaim.com. And close. And I want to sketch the rectangle first. And so I'll go down here and I'll select Sketch, New Sketch Plane. Okay? And when I do that, as I move the cursor, you see if I move it quote unquote towards the back, in this isometric view, you see it selects the XY plane. If I move it towards the left, it selects a YZ plane and so on. So make sure, you move the cursor to the back and select the XY plane. And then I can click. And then I'll say, look, plan view, look at the plane. And we want to, so here are the sketch tools. And I want to sketch a rectangle. And I'll come in here and I'll hover around the origin until I see the snapping to curve center. You'll see it over here. And so that way the lower left corner of your domain will be at the origin, which is what we want. Okay, and draw a rectangle. And if you hit the space bar, it'll freeze the sketch and it'll ask you for dimensions. Now the default dimensions are in millimeters, which is not what I want. So what I'll do is I will click escape and then I will say undo. Maybe I need to click escape once more. And so between escape and undo, you can undo what we just did. And SpaceClaim looks uses a lot of the shortcuts that you use in Microsoft Office, for instance. So I'll come to File and select SpaceClaim Options and go to Units and set the units to meters. Okay? And then click OK. And now when I come in and do my sketch, I should get the dimensions in meters, and then I will press the space bar to freeze the dimensions, and then I will give the dimension for the length of the rectangle, which should be equal to the length of the pipe, so that's 3 meters. And then I can hit the tab key and it'll go to the next dimension, and it's rescale it because this is long. And the radius is 0.1 meters. And then I'll hit enter. And I can come in here and I can manipulate the view using stuff over here. So I'll say zoom extends. Okay. So I have my I have a sketch of 3 meters and 0.1 meters. And then I'll go to 3D mode over here, return to 3D mode. And when I do that, you see it's created a surface, and that's what we want. And that's the only thing that is passed on forward into the mesher and into the solver. And SpaceClaim is a direct modeler, so there's no history of how you created that surface, which is mostly good, but not always. And so I have the rectangular domain over which I want to solve my governing equations. So I will exit SpaceClaim, and I should see a tick under geometry. Next, I'll show you how to save the project in a couple of ways. It's a little bit more complicated just knowing how to select file save. And this is similar to what I showed you in the in 2D conduction module.